This video is going to be part process, part guided meditation. We'll be creating these scallop patterns. And as far as supplies go, I have my pencil, any pencil will do, and I have blue paint markers. So I have my Sharpie creative marker, and then I have a metallic Posca paint marker and my light blue Posca paint marker. Also, I will be using a silver paint marker later in this video. That is optional, but you can go ahead and set that aside. And to begin, lightly draw your scallop shapes or your mermaid scales. And I know I'm drawing very light, it might be hard to see, but I'm leaving a very small gap between each scallop. And don't worry about perfection here. I'm trying to go with the flow, eyeing a sense of alignment, but doing this freehand. So I think there's a beautiful quality to these patterns when you can tell they're handmade and when they're not perfect or, measured out beforehand. I'm going to be working with my darker blue inward to my light blue. And I'm going to start at the top so that my palm does not smear the paint as I go. So I'm going to trace my large scallop shapes, but as I do, I'm going to, rather than one smooth line, I'm creating these small scallop shapes. So I'm scalloping on my scallops. And then I'll go back and do a second line so that we have that thicker weight here. And as you do this, as you get started, just take a moment to kind of find where you are on the paper. And what I mean is bring your awareness to the present moment. Where on the paper does your hand rest? How does it feel as the tip of the marker goes against the paper? Notice any sounds. You might be listening to the sound of the marker on the paper. Maybe you can hear traffic or sounds of nature outside your window. Maybe you are outside. Maybe you are in a soundproof room for some reason. So just kind of notice your surroundings and what you hear. Bring your awareness to any sounds you might be making. Can you hear your breath? Can you hear your stomach rumbling? Or maybe if you shift in your seat, can you hear any pops or cracks in your body? And even when we're doing a quiet activity like drawing, isn't it interesting what you can hear? When I teach art meditation or when I guide art meditations, I often guide people through drawing repeating patterns. This is a very relaxing technique. Any pattern will do. You could draw circles or even just lines across the paper over and over again. And what this does, it encourages your mind to enter a semi-automatic state. And what that means for you is it helps you to quiet the chatter in your prefrontal cortex. And this is the part of your brain responsible for overthinking and stress. So thank you, prefrontal cortex. but we are going to let you take a break right now. And in just a few minutes, drawing repetitive patterns can help you enter flow state, which is where the relaxing and the meditation comes in. So for the next moment or two, I want you to just let your thoughts wander. Let your mind wander. And if you're judging your thoughts, that's okay. We're kind of in our free-for-all moment right now. For me, I find when I am driving, I often let my mind wander the way it does during an exercise like this. And I often get creative ideas or new perspectives while I'm driving. So if you've never done art meditation before, maybe you've experienced something similar to this state of being while you've been driving. Now, as we let this part dry, it might be helpful to breathe in and breathe out. And again, breathe in and breathe out. And you can repeat this a few more times while you let the paint marker dry. I'm going to move on to my metallic blue. And I'm working my way in on these scallop shapes. So I'll move my hand in a moment. You can see what I'm doing. I'm essentially following the outline just underneath that dark blue line. And it's okay if there's a little white space between your two colors. Again, I like the handmade look here. We're not going for perfection. Another benefit of this type of art meditation exercise is that it helps you focus your attention. The simplicity of repeating the same pattern over and over again can help you reduce your cognitive load, or all the thoughts that your brain likes to dump into your awareness. And sometimes you're not even aware. Your thoughts have just swept you away and you don't even realize it. But this kind of repetition helps you to focus on the present moment. As you draw in a repetitive way over and over, you're creating a rhythm that mirrors the steadiness of breath or repeating a mantra without having to actually focus on your breath or consciously focus on a mantra. And you certainly can do those things, but just the simple act of repeating the pattern through drawing brings you into that present moment. And if you're just getting started with art meditation, simplicity will be your friend. So before you try to dive into really intricate, complicated patterns, maybe you like the look of complex mandalas. I think they're gorgeous. Certainly do that if you feel called to. But I recommend starting simple. Simple repeating designs provide you with a sense of order and predictability, which is calming for our human brains. It reduces uncertainty and can help you feel like you have more control. And when you start more simply, you can practice letting go of the result or letting go of this needing to look perfect. So for the next few moments now, I want you to simply focus on the repetition. And you can interpret that however you like. You might be focusing on the repetitive movement of your hand. You might be more focused on the repetition of sound. So, whatever it is you decide to focus on, just pick an element of repetition and focus on that for the next moment or two. Checking in. What are you thinking about right now? And without judgment, bring your awareness back to the repetition that's happening on the paper in front of you. Checking in again. Where is your awareness right now? If you're still working on your pattern with the second color, just bring your focus back to the repetitive motion. You can breathe in while you let this dry and breathe out. And again, breathe in and breathe out. You can continue this for a few moments while you let that second color dry. I'm moving on to my third color. So I have my lightest blue. And once again, working our way in, we're going to follow the scallop outline shape. As you continue, notice how you're feeling right now. Notice physical sensations in your body, and also emotionally and mentally. How are you feeling? Has anything shifted for you in the last 10 to 15 minutes? Do you feel the same? And we're not judging your answer here, so there's no wrong or right answer. Just notice. Meditation in any form, whether it's art meditation or sitting meditation or something else you like to do, as a form of meditation or mindfulness helps you release judgment. So you can, with practice, improve your ability to notice your thoughts or notice how you feel without judging yourself for it. And this is really important. Often we might feel pain and judge that pain, or we might feel frustrated or shame or impatient or anxious. I could keep going, but we might have these, quote, negative feelings that we judge. I mean, we label them as negative, we label them as bad. And then we judge ourselves for having those feelings. We don't want to be anxious. We don't want to be impatient. And I'm human. I'd rather feel at ease. I'd rather feel calm than be stressed out or worried. But there's an acceptance that can really help you be okay with who you are and what you experience and what you feel, and just to be okay being human. It is okay to be upset. So the two can exist, the desire to feel better and the acceptance of feeling bad. And I find the act of meditating is very profound and powerful in helping me gain a sense of self-awareness, so the noticing, but then also the self-acceptance. And over time, you'll start to realize that you don't feel bad all the time. An off day or an off week, an off month, an off year does not mean that your future is doomed to just be terrible. Joy and happiness, ease, relief, relaxation are also part of being human. When I do these art meditations, I get instant relief. It may not last me, much beyond the meditation itself, but I know when I sit down for 15 to 30 minutes to meditate, even 30 seconds of relief, it is so worth it. And when you do these rhythmic, repetitive, pattern-making art meditations, they can have a grounding effect. They reduce your heart rate and calm the nervous system. Very similar to how deep breathing exercises work. And you can certainly deepen your breath during this process. So we're about to finish with our third color. Let's bring our focus to the breath. We'll take some deep breaths together in just a moment, but for now, just notice your breath. Is it deep? Is it shallow? Take a deep breath in and let it out. You can do this a little longer at your own pace. I want to add some detail to our scallop. So here I had done some gold details, and I've got my silver Posca pen. So this part's optional, by the way. You can be done with your art meditation at this point. Or if you want, you can add some details. And I'm going to do some little half circles here that sort of connect our scallops together. This color palette feels calming to me, especially compared to that pink, orange, and yellow one that I had done previously. That was more energetic. This one's calming. Now I'm going over my silver half circle with some dots. I often like to pair repetitive pattern making with intentional color choice. So I will look at color symbolism, mood and colors, the correlation. This is very personal. For me, blue brings me to that more even keel, relaxed place. Blue might make you feel highly energetic. So I tend to recommend certain colors as a generality, but it certainly can be an individual preference. And bringing in these silver details, just like a little bow on top of this process. It feels really good to make these dots. Okay, I feel good about this. This was about 20 minutes. So I'm going to peel off this tape. I always love how satisfying it is to peel off the tape and see those clean edges. And one thing I like to do when I have deliberate art meditations completed, I will write the date on the back and I'll just note that it was an art meditation. And I keep these in a portfolio. And there we have it. Our scallop pattern art meditation. Thanks for watching.